and then try to like run your Hussar back into your CA, and it's tough. Something like that basically is what you're trying to achieve. I messed up, but yeah, it's the hardest thing to deal with.
कल याद दिलाना जब जाओगी जब याद दिलाना
You have to play around your castles a lot. Hello, Harry. Do you speak French? A little bit of French, not much though. But just a little bit. No legendary Huns Halb. Problem is you can't go Halb as Huns in that case because then the skirm would just counter everything. You could try like Halb Paladin, but yeah, it's okay. But you don't get last armor on Halb, which is why it's rough, in my opinion. You just take too much damage from the skirms. Not much French, but you lived in Montreal? Yeah, I lived in Montreal, but I just spoke English anyway. I mean, I know enough French to get by, don't get me wrong. Some fishing boat action. No way he gets that. I'm gonna hide here. I'm gonna see if he runs. Nah, he's not gonna leave. He's not stupid. He's not stupid. Ah! What? He was stupid. But that was even stupider, thinking he's not stupid. Never think your opponent is not stupid, chat. First mistake. Your opponent is always stupid. Some wisdom. There's a lot of wisdom there. And that's only the first lesson. Imagine when I give lesson number 2. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I think I want to play with some like kind of aggression. I don't know.
अरे तुका दम अरे तुका अम्मा ठीक है ना अम्मा कहीं की अरे अम्मा कहीं की Damn, you niggas is sleeping. Niggas is sleeping, fool.
Once upon a time, in a land far away, there lived a nameless monster. The monster was dying to have a name. So the monster made up his mind and set out on a journey to look for one. But the world was such a very large place. The monster split in two and went on separate journeys. One went east, the other headed west. The one who went east came upon a village. There was a blacksmith who lived at the village's entrance. "Mr. Blacksmith, please give me your name," said the monster. "I can't give you my name," replied the blacksmith. "If you give me your name, I'll go inside you and make you strong," said the monster. "Really?" said the blacksmith. "If you make me stronger, I'll give you my name." The monster went into the blacksmith. And so, the monster became Otto the blacksmith. Otto was the strongest man in town. But then one day he said, "Look at me, look at me. The monster inside of me is getting bigger." Munch, munch, chomp, chomp, gobble, gobble, gulp. The hungry monster ate up Otto from the inside out. Once again, he was a monster without a name. The monster next went to a castle to look for a nice name. He came upon a very sick boy who lived in that castle. "If you give me your name, I'll make you strong," said the monster. The boy replied, "If you can make me healthy and strong, I will give you my name." So the monster jumped right into the boy. And the boy became full of vigor. The king was overjoyed. He announced, "The prince is healthy. The prince is strong." The monster became quite fond of the boy's name. He was also quite pleased with his royal life in the castle. So he controlled himself no matter how ravenous his appetite became. Day after day, despite his growing hunger, the monster stayed put inside the boy. But finally, the hunger just became too great. "Look at me, said the boy. "The monster inside of me has gotten this big." The boy devoured the king and all his servants. Munch, munch. Chomp, chomp. Gobble, gobble. Go. The castle was lonely now with everyone gone, so the boy left on a journey. He walked and walked for days. And then one day, the boy came upon a monster who had gone west. "I have a name," said the boy, "and it's such a wonderful one at that." But the monster who went west replied, "Who needs a name? I'm perfectly happy without one." After all, that's what we are. Nameless monsters. The boy ate up the monster who went west. At last he had found a name, but there was no longer anyone to call him by it. Such a shame, because Johann was such a wonderful name.
The story just told is the key essential thing that pretty much sums up all of Johann as a character. Johann being someone who's trying to find his identity in the world and goes through all sorts of unstable and chaotic moments to then realize his conclusion in life, that everyone is equal in death. An extremely nihilistic person who wants to see nothing but the world burn. He wasn't necessarily what the Nazis wanted him to be, although even though he was their definition of the ultimate man, the leader of the next Aryan race, Johann didn't care for any of that, because he was quite literally the embodiment of, "I'm not racist, I hate everybody equally." A man who's capable of making people kill themselves with just his words. Quite literally the anime version of the Joker. Someone who is, from a structural standpoint, as I pointed out in my video How to Write the Perfect Antagonist, is written flawlessly. If you asked me who the greatest antagonist in all of anime and manga was, and my life was on the line, my answer would either be Johann or Griffith. And at the moment, Griffith definitely serves as the 1B to Johann's 1A. Every action that we see Johann take is to show his overall chaotic and extremely nihilistic nature. The game that he plays on the rooftop with the boy, saying that if you survive, it was because you were destined to. Carelessly throwing his life out there without a single thought. The entire narrative and story of Monster is predicated on the actions of this man and the dynamic he has with Dr. Tenma. But Johann's unstableness mentally and the whole issue of him finding an identity and ultimately becoming the embodiment of nihilism itself is so beautifully represented by the story I retold in the beginning. If you were to ask me what was my favorite thing from Monster, it would have to be the Nameless Monster tale. It's something that was used as symbolism and as a metaphor for who Johann was as a character, but Urasawa tells it as a separate story within the story of Monster. Essentially what Urasawa did was use a creative telling of a story within the story to explain that story. I know it sounds wild, but just bear with it. The story tells of someone who's trying to find their identity, but through different attempts and many failures, he ends up feeling alone. And in that loneliness, Despite seeming like someone who's just an innocent member of society, turns into one of the
ओए
greatest
कितनी जगह है तेरे
monsters
पास?
ever written. There has to be
हाँ?
something to be said that
कितनी
one
जगह
of
है?
the creepiest
कितने
antagonists
बंदों की जगह
in
है?
all of anime
हाँ?
and manga that I've
बग
ever
भी आ रहा है।
witnessed isn't someone who's given dark or supernatural powers. He isn't someone who could destroy planets with just a finger. He's just a man. But nonetheless, Urasawa does a great job to dictate that in Monster, Johan pulls the strings. As I did state in my video how to write the perfect antagonist, Johan does check every single box possible that you could want from an antagonist. He's someone who's presented from the very beginning, allowing for proper buildup of his character. He's someone who parallels and contrasts the protagonist amazingly as well. Due to Dr. Tenma saving him, Johan
आगे।
showing a face of